What is up, everyone? I am on the clock at the 101. We're getting right into it here. Another mock. I got 10 seconds. We're taking Bijan. First time drafting from the 101, and I'm excited about it. I like having the number one pick this year. I think it's a good year to have it. I think Bijan is my clear one. I know like the ADP is a little bit even between him and Gibbs right now. But it's something where I just think Bijan is set up for like a clear 101 type of season. I hope we get Tua in at quarterback, as gross as that sounds, but that would even increase the checkdowns even more. Stefanski, great run first offensive coach, and I think Bijan is just set up really really well. Obviously, he's supremely talented. There's no surprises there. So we're going to go ahead and take him at the 101. Sorry to jump right into it. I pressed record and this thing was already rolling, so I had no choice. But we're rolling here. We're going to do another mock. This is my first time, like I said, drafting from the 1, and we're going to see how this goes. So I do like going running back heavy early as a strategy in general. And when you can get the best running back, I am very much all for that. I think that also in this year's drafts, at least in the couple I've done so far, I'm starting to get a feel for it. And granted, like these things will obviously change throughout the summer before we get to like our real drafts when we're drafting for the season. But from what I've seen so far, the teams that draft at like the 101, 102, I feel like I end up liking what they have a lot. I feel like the top guys are very valuable, obviously, duh. But I think like the beginning and end of the second round, at least in my mind right now, aren't like super different. Like I've been seeing a lot of teams like if you're at the you get a Bijan or a Gibbs, and then at the 2-3 turn you grab like a Chase Brown and a Brock Bowers or something like that. Which is a fantastic start. I would love to start like that. So we're gonna see who I get here. I haven't had a Bowers build yet. And I kind of want to. Again, I'm still shocked that he's tight end one over McBride. I agree with it. I just didn't expect it would happen this quickly. Um, but yeah, so we're gonna see what happens here. I'd like to, if I'm calling it right now. If he's there at 24 for me, I am taking Brock Bowers. But we're gonna see. So far, we look at our draft board. 6 receivers, 5 backs. This guy in the turn is gonna auto pick. That's kind of lame. Genty at 12, or maybe not auto pick. I don't know. Um, but yeah, 2 running backs there for Soldinger. He's got Ken and Genty. So let's see. Seen a lot of running back heavy builds early on. That's also another trend I've seen in these early best ball drafts, where people are just loading up on the running backs early. And I think as of right now, I kind of agree with the strategy. I mean, every year there is, better better receiver depth than running back. I think this is a good year to load up on the top running backs. So there's a lot of really strong running backs this year, like guys that who are ranked in like the RB 14, 15, 16 range, like like a Derrick Henry, Josh Jacobs, whatever, are like really strong and definitely stronger than I remember that crop being in past years. Like even last year, I remember like by the time we got to peak draft season, like Travion Henderson as a rookie was going at like the RB 15, 16 area. Now we got guys that we know are like certified going at that spot. And that's not going to change. Maybe they shuffle around a little bit. I just think there's like a better crop of talent this year in terms of like the running backs at the top of things. So definitely a very exciting time to grab running backs early. And I am coming up on the clock. I really hope Bowers gets to me, man. And he doesn't. I should just never open my mouth. If Jeremiah Love is there, I'll take him. I think this guy's going to take him, though. Nope. He goes for London. I'm not going to take McBride. If he is there, I'm going to fade McBride. I'm definitely Team Bowers this year. I hope I'm not overthinking it. Come on, man. Don't take Love. Please, don't take Love. And auto pick takes Jacobs. Wow. All right. Well, we're going Jeremiah Love. We'll take him at the turn. We're going to take Jeremiah Love, and then I'm right back on the clock again. And I'm going to go for my pick of the receivers here. And for me, I have A.J. Brown ranked the highest out of these guys. It's close, but I have him slightly over Nico and Pickens. Potentially a little bit of a hot take, but I don't fully care. I just think that A.J. Brown is a very good player, and he is getting a quarterback upgrade and an offensive upgrade in the sense of they will throw the ball more than they did in Philly last year, and even with that, A.J. Brown still ended up like wide receiver 10. So turbulent, and he made everyone annoyed with him, with his antics and everything, but he still produced even with all that. So I think all that can only improve, and I think he's getting drafted, I don't want to say near his floor, but at a place where I am very comfortable with him. So I know we see Philly on there. That's going to be New England in a couple of weeks. So I'm quite bullish on AJ Brown. I also think the way that he wins, like, very much jives well with Drake May and what Drake May does really well. Like, Drake is a very gifted deep ball thrower. I think you could make a legit argument that he's the best deep ball thrower in the league right now. And AJ Brown, obviously, big body, athletic freak, gets down the field and can win those. Drake May's made guys like Kayshon Boutte and dudes like that look like, really good players. And Bootie's fine, but getting him like a real legit wide receiver we haven't seen yet, and I'm very excited to see what he can do with that, because I think he can really elevate that level of a player. I'm getting a lot of time to talk here, man. Being on the turn, it's a little different. It's the first time I've been on the turn for one of these drafts. So there's a lot of time between my picks, and I just fire off my two. Double the time to listen to me. Let's see. Let's look at our board. So again, see a lot of running backs coming off the board. Josh Allen, first quarterback, off at 32. That's another thing I've noticed on these underdog drafts, that the quarterback position gets faded like really hard. And I'm not quite sure why. Like, Josh Allen still gets drafted around like where I think he should, maybe like a little bit higher than or lower than I'd expect. But everything after that, like Lamar is usually QB2 off the board, and he doesn't even go until like the 5th or 6th round, which I think is kind of crazy. So I don't know. I may look into one of the higher quarterbacks here just because they fall so late. Like a little Drake May, AJ Brown stack. I mean, Drake's all the way down here at 70. I would eat that up in a second. So, got to think that through. But again, I love this area of quarterback. I mean, sorry, not of quarterbacks, of wide receivers. I think if I can get on the turn, but everyone's gonna stay away from Bucky. I'll talk about him after I make my pick. And there he goes. But if I could go Scat and Terry, I would feel fantastic. I would feel fantastic about getting Scat and Terry. Let's see what we can do. Or I may just slam two receivers. Pause. Waddle. I'm definitely taking Terry if he's there. That is predetermined. If Scat's there, it's going to be hard for me not to, man. Weaver Ben. Don't do it to me, Weaver Ben. Well, we're going to get at least one of the two. So either Scat or Terry, and then I got to think about otherwise. I may go Judkins, honestly. I like Judkins a lot. I think he's getting slept on a little bit. Montgomery, that's fine. We can fade Montgomery. We are going to take... Do I go Scat or Judkins? I'm going to take Scat. I like his setup with the Giants. And then we are going to take my guy Terry. I have a feeling I'm going to get Terry in like every draft I do. And I'm super cool with that. So, yeah, I love this start. Very, very happy with it. And, yeah, so as we talk about some of these guys coming off the board here, I want to talk about Bucky. It came out the other day that he is still not cleared from that shoulder that he hurt like in the middle of last season. So that's like, God, I mean, at this point, I don't know, 8 or 9 months since that's happened, and he's still not fully cleared. Now, granted, that could just be a formality. He doesn't actually have to be doing any football activities yet. So, none of that necessarily matters. But it's just something to keep your eye on. He's not cleared still. They paid Kenneth Gainwell real money in the offseason to come in there. They brought Sean Tucker back. Like, it's just, nothing is like going the right direction for Bucky. He's an awesome player. I just think I start to worry about the opportunity for him. And I think other people are starting to think the same way. When like initial rankings came out on a lot of sites to like start this year, which like I know it's still way too early for that anyways, but like right after the draft when that stuff started to happen, he was all the way up at like, 28, 29, like around where ETN is. He's already slid all the way here, and I think like the more we hear, the more he probably will slide. And there just hasn't been any good news. I know it's like, he's not cleared yet, so what, who cares? I get it, right? But like once you see enough of this stuff, like you just kind of want to hear something positive. And usually this point of the off season is like where all the positive stuff starts to come out, whether it actually matters or not. But we just can't get a lick of positive news about Bucky. So it's a little bit concerning, man. And I think I'm going to be fully hands off until we get any sort of resolution on that. So quarterbacks are starting to come off the board now. I have a feeling I'm probably not going to get my guy Drake May. That's fine. But if he is there, I'm going to take him. Brian Thomas there going a little bit early. I hope he can bounce back, man. His rookie year was so fun. Let's see. Tyler Warren off the board, 4 tight ends. I think also, like, in terms of draft strategy, I'm probably just going to be avoiding the middle round tight end. I think like my strategy is going to be either I'm going to get Bowers up at the top, or I'm going to wait until the very end, and I'm going to grab one of the later tight ends because I like a lot of them and they're basically free. So I'm going to be looking into that. The rookie's already starting to move up the board a bit. I'm going to wait for my pick here. I'm taking Drake May if he does not get taken here by Weaver Ben, although he already has a quarterback, so I'd be shocked if he did. Let us see who we can grab here. I got to get more receivers, though. My receiver room is kind of light. All right, he goes, wow. Okay, so he did go quarterback, and he took Jalen Hurts. So we're going to go ahead and take Drake May. We're going to get a little stack, and going to feel great about it. Now, at the other pick, do I want to take Parker Washington? I don't know, man. He's up so high. I'm going to go ahead. I'm panicking. I'm going to take Jaden Reed. Nope, I got auto-picked. Okay, well, I got Chuba. I like Chuba. Now, I think I'm probably not going to draft like another running back. I think our running back room is beyond stacked at this point. But I'm totally cool with Chuba. I like him this year. I was going to take Jaden Reed, honestly. I just didn't get to the draft button in time. That happens when you have a 20-second clock. But yeah, I like getting Drake May there. I mean, it's a honestly pretty cheap stack with A.J. Brown, which has the upside to be like super elite. So feel great about that. But yeah, so what I was talking about before my pick, and I'm I guess not locked in enough, I ended up missing it, is seeing these rookies already starting to jump up the board a bit. The ADP has already jumped on particularly Price, Tate, Lemon, and Tyson, those four. Tyson's already popping up. I think Tate is going to end up going higher than this. I feel like he usually goes sooner than this in drafts, so I'm surprised to see Tyson ahead of him. Price is already moving up. Mekhi Lemon, that's the earliest I've seen him go at 68. So these guys, again, it's just a trend that you will see with rookies. They will just go sooner and sooner as the offseason goes and as the summer goes along, so just be on the lookout for that. I think out of those guys, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely in on Price just because of the situation and the opportunity. I think I like Lemon. They're honestly all set up really well. I think we want to start to hear like training camp reports before assuming anything else. But I think they're not crazily priced. But again, it's only May, so by the time we get to like June, July doing these best ball drafts, I think these guys are going to be going like uncomfortably high. So we'll see how worth it that ends up being, but just something to keep your eyes on as we continue to go here. This guy takes just a terrorist duo of running backs at the turn, Harvey and Dowdle. I'm pretty out on both of those guys, I think. Especially Harvey. I'm surprised his ADP is this low. I expected to be more out than the public on him. But people are they're feeling the same way about just the backfield is so muddy there. Jonah Coleman's there. He can catch passes. He can spell Dobbins. Dobbins is obviously there to run the rock. If Dobbins goes down, now there isn't really even the upside for Harvey to take over the whole backfield again. It's a mess, and I think his touches are not going to be very safe. So pretty much hands off on Harvey, especially like even at this point in the draft. I'm still kind of all set. So now that our running back room is completely stacked, we only have 2 wide receivers. I think we're just going to stack receivers the rest of the way. Let's see who we can get here. I do honestly weirdly like this little slot of receivers. I will take Godwin if he's there. We kind of have an unk. We kind of get the unction going at wide receiver. With I guess AJ is AJ unk status at this point? I don't know. But Terry kind of is. Oh, let's see. I'll take Myers if he drops. If not, I'm going to take Downs and maybe even Matthew Golden. As crazy as that sounds. Let's see. Jacoby goes. All right. Well, we're going to take Josh Downs for sure. As if any of you have watched my videos up until this point, number 1, shout out to you. And number 2, you know that I like Josh Downs. So big on him this year. God, who do I want? You know what? I don't have any shares of Matthew Golden, and I'm going to go grab one. I think this is the archetype of guy that you do go after in a year 2, especially, right, like the Packers wide receiver room. They cleared it out. They got rid of Dontavian Wicks, traded him to the Eagles. They lost Romeo Doubs free agency. So, the whole frustration with the Packers wide receivers in prior years has not been the fact that they are bad. It's the fact that they're so inconsistent and you don't know who's going to produce on a week-to-week basis, or they just kind of eat into each other. But if you were to consolidate the 5 down to 3, because like even if it's like whoever is 4th or 5th in the pecking order on a given week, like even if they're grabbing like I don't know 3 for 30, that still eats into other guys. Like it's not great on its own, but it eats into the total pie. If you're consolidating that more, just in terms of production, but also even just like raw snaps, that means a lot. And I think that all 3 that are left have juice. And I think my strategy right now, and I think I've honestly completed that so far, is that I want to leave every draft with at least one. I just want to have one. I don't know if one of them necessarily is going to pop off or if it's just going to be like a steady uptick for all 3, but I think all 3 of them are like very reasonably priced, and I just want to get my hands on them wherever I can. Pause. Wow. And yeah, I just think the opportunity is great in Green Bay. And, all 3 of those guys have proven that they don't have any problem getting injured at any given time, too. So that 3 could become 2 at any moment. If Christian Watson's hamstring decides to explode again, or if Jaden Reed gets hurt or whatever, that's a room that could get very condensed very quickly, and that's something that definitely you want to have a piece of. So I'm very much pro rolling the proverbial dice on the Green Bay receiver room. I think my favorite as of right now is Christian Watson, but I think that is kind of priced in a little bit right here at 60, which, again, you're not paying a crazy price for him. Like, going around guys like DJ Moore, Tyson Adunze, like, I'm taking Watson over those guys for sure. But the other 2, like Reed and Golden, I think are fine pricing as well. I mean, me grabbing Golden at 97, like, that's a very worthwhile risk, and I'm super cool with that. All right, so we're approaching our pick again. I would have loved to take Shuck. Going to be totally real with you there, but he's off the board. So let's see what we're going to do. I really don't want Baker. The quarterbacks are getting gross, man. Yikes. Okay. Am I going to be able to wait for Cam Ward? That is the question. Because that will be my next guy. I don't want Baker. Who has multiple quarterbacks? So we got me with 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. So a lot of people have 2 quarterbacks. This guy has none. Do I want... All right, I'm going to take Wan'Dale. I like Wan'Dale. I think he's mispriced. He's not fun. He's not sexy. And that's why he goes lower than he should. So I'm a fan of his. And then... You know what? I don't really care about the receivers at this point. They're all kind of like throwing darts. I'm going to take my QB2 and Cam Ward so I can talk about him a little bit. And I guess a little mini stack there with Wan'Dale. I didn't even think about that. But I'm bullish on Tennessee. I am. I'm bullish on Tennessee. I like everything that they have done this offseason. I think they're definitely an arrow pointing up type of team. You can throw up in your mouth all that you want thinking about the Titans offense, and that is totally fair. But I think that these things can turn around quicker than you think. If you look at other situations, you see my QB1 on this roster, Drake May. I mean, like, the Patriots offense was considered to be disgusting going into last year. Don't want to touch any of it. But the Titans, Cam Ward was set up terribly last year. He didn't look awesome, but he showed flashes and he progressed throughout the year while having no weapons and pretty incompetent offensive coaching, which for a rookie quarterback is like kind of a nightmare. And yeah, so I like that. I like them bringing in Carnell Tate at 4. It shows, 1, a vote of confidence in the quarterback, and 2, getting him someone else to throw the ball to. Wan'Dale is a great option to have underneath. I think Brian Daboll is a very strong offensive coordinator. Even if I'm wrong about that, he is at the very least competent, and with competence is, it's just going to be more stability and like an adult in the room. Like, I almost feel similarly to how, seeing Josh McDaniels in New England last year or so. Like that a lot. I wanted Isaiah Likely. That's a bummer. I probably should have taken him. Well, I guess he went before I would have been able to get him. I think he's going to shoot up boards because, 1, he's the number 2 target in New York, and 2, everything we hear about Malik Neighbors is bad. Until we start hearing good things about Neighbors' knee, I do think that we could see a little bit of a jump up for Likely. In our draft guide, we are definitely above market on him, and he's one of the late round tight ends I really like. So I probably should grab a tight end, huh? I probably should do that. I don't have any. We're just going to have to shoot for the moon with some gross ones. I'm not taking Gadsden, though. His ADP is going to really drop here with the Njoku signing. I just think it's going to be tough for him to be on the field, and yeah. Let's see. I see Brenton Strange down here. I like that. I like 19, 20, 21. I'm cool with all those guys. Hawkinson even. Let's see. Okay, so two more tight ends off the board. I'm kind of out on Goddard and Gadsden, so I'm fine with that. I'm hopeful I can grab, well, I should be able to grab these guys, but at this point, it's kind of whatever. Hunter Henry, I guess we can stack up with Drake May. It's just kind of like hoping on touchdowns at this point. I do like Chiggy a bit because he could just be the number 2 target in Washington, so um, that is very interesting, but yeah, we'll have to see what we get. So this is a total tight end fade, and again, this is best ball, so people are going to be taking more tight ends than in your normal drafts. I think you won't even have to dumpster dive for a guy this low in your actual drafts, but I'm again cool with it. I think once you get past the first couple tight ends, realistically, it just kind of becomes a little bit of a crapshoot, and the differentiation is so minimal. But all right, well, Stephon Diggs goes off the board. He doesn't even have a team, so I'm gonna take Strange because I like what he did last year. He moved me in the games he played. And I'm also going to take Chig, and I'm realizing that I think Chig is my favorite late round tight end because he is very late. I think he's talented, he's athletic, and Jaden Daniels has shown that he has a tendency to throw to the tight end in a way that is pretty meaningful. He's had like a geriatric Zach Ertz made him relevant 2 years in a row, at least when he's on the field. So getting an athletic guy in there like Chig and not really having a secondary receiver is pretty interesting to me. So I'm surprised he goes this late, but I'm happy to take him there in the 13th round of a 12-team draft. So I will take him. And now we're getting into the gross late round guys. So I don't even know who I want at this point. Let's see, we can look at the board, see if there's anyone worth talking about. Juwan Jennings signing with Minnesota. I am not super interested in him fantasy-wise. I think that he does two things. He makes the baseline of their offense just more competent, but at the same time, also I think takes away from the secondary targets. I think it's just going to eat into like Addison, who is already kind of tough to rely on before this, and also guys like a Hawkinson or something like that. I don't really think it's going to impact Jettas too much, but I do think it's a net positive for the Minnesota offense as a whole. If you bring him in, him being your wide receiver 3, I think that's a big-time luxury to have in your room, and it's just, they have really good weapons in Minnesota, so Kyler is set up to succeed. And I know they're talking about that, too, being like a true open quarterback competition. I do think that's really just for optics. They go out and get Kyler. Kyler doesn't sign there if he's not going to play. And also he's just a lot better than JJ. So I'm not worried about JJ starting there. And if that does happen, that's a national travesty. But I don't think we have to worry about it too much on that front. Let's see, who else can we talk about? I see Pacheco there. I like Pacheco as a late-round dart throw as well. I know it's a new offensive system, and he's not the player that Monty is, but I do think he's kind of closer to the level of quality than a lot of people may think. So if he just even becomes like a short yardage or early down plotter type of guy in Detroit and maybe gets a couple goal line touches, he's very well worth this price, which is essentially free. Because if you think about like Monty, right? Monty, before he signed with Detroit, he was not thought of like positively. He was kind of like the Bears were happy to let him go, and not like a bust, but he was just kind of like a whatever player, almost like similar to a Pacheco. So much of this ends up being your situation, especially as a running back, like who's like average talent level. So I just wouldn't be shocked if Pacheco finds himself a nice little role there in Detroit. Not going to break your leagues or anything, but I think in like the 150s, I think that's an easy tap for me. Let's see. Do I take another tight end? I think I might. I think I might just take like Schultz. Or you know what? Do I triple stack it? Yeah, fuck it. I'm gonna triple stack it. Take my guy Gunnar Helm. We're just gonna. Whoa. We're gonna go all in on the Titans. When has that ever gone wrong? Okay, so we got our 3 tight ends. I don't think I'm gonna take another one. Let's see. Who else do I want to take here? Gross. You know what? I'm going to take Darnell Mooney. I saw him somewhere. on the chance that Neighbors does not start the season. Maybe we get a game or two of wide receiver one Darnell Mooney on the Giants. I don't know, man. The Neighbors stuff is weird. I think, again, similar to a Bucky, nothing that's come out has been positive. And you want to hear some sort of positivity, like, okay, Neighbors trending well. He is, ready to go, whatever. He had another cleanup surgery on his knee for the ACL. I saw it was like to remove scar tissue. They're not concerned about it. But again, follow-up procedures are not our friends. I'm not a doctor, but I did see one doctor guy talking about it, and he is concerned just as in terms of at least the start of the season. He thinks it's going to be a little bit of a slower ramp up for Neighbors. So I would just build that into your expectation for him. We've bumped him down our rankings a little bit just because of like the level of concern with the knee still, and we're going to operate with that as fact. But again, got to be water, got to evolve with the facts as they come out. But just for right now, like the vibes are pretty bad with Neighbors. He's obviously a special talent, and once he's back, he will start to terrorize the league again. But I don't know. He's not fully healthy yet, and I just don't love that. So getting some secondary giants is not a bad idea. So that's what we got with Darnell Mooney. I don't know if I'll take a fourth tight end at this point. But these are my last two picks that are coming up. I say it's 12 picks away. If you are still here also and you're watching the 16th round of a best ball draft, in the middle of May for someone who has basically no subscribers, I would appreciate if you did subscribe. I do look at the Insights tab of my channel, and I know that the vast majority of people watching these videos are not subscribed. So I would appreciate if you did. We're going to be making more content like this all summer. I'm going to be doing mock drafts. We're going to be talking through rankings. We're going to be talking through draft strategy. We're going to be talking through sleepers, values, busts, whatever you want to hear about. And that's only going to ramp up more as the summer goes. So stay tuned in for that. And yeah, that's all I really had to say. But no, these aren't my last picks. I picked last in the draft. Well, okay. Who are we going to take here? Do I take one more running back? Maybe. Or do I just hammer receiver? Let's see. Who do I even like at this spot? Braylon Allen was sneaky for a little bit, but then Breece Hall got extended. So that kind of killed that. Any potential of a Breece Hall holdout? I might take some Zachariah Branch. He could become the number 2 receiver in Atlanta pretty quick. Their room behind Drake London is pretty abysmal. So I may get involved with some of that. There goes Flournoy. Zach Branch. And then, you know what? If we're going to stay on the upside train, he's not going to start the season, but we're going to take the upside of some Chris Bell. Maybe he pops at the end of the year. And yeah, I also think he went right before me, but Flournoy is like somewhat interesting. Just keep an eye on the George Pickens stuff. He is currently on the tag. We're going to see if he holds out. We're going to see if he gets traded. My gut says they'll probably end up paying him and he stays in Dallas and none of this matters. But if that isn't the case, Flournoy becomes number 2 behind CeeDee Lamb in Dallas, which is immediately super interesting. And obviously getting him here at 191 would be a supreme value. So just something to think about, especially at the fact that like none of these guys are going to probably mean anything at this point, and you're just kind of shooting darts. So, yeah, that's my last thing. I know talking Ryan Flournoy 30 minutes into a video in May is that's what gets the people coming back. But anyways, I'm going to cut it here. You guys don't need to wait for my 18th round pick. And yeah, hope you enjoyed this one. Again, we're going to continue doing these mock drafts through Best Ball. It's the best way to do it on Underdog. Use code CHIP if you want $50 free when you first deposit $5. If you're a new user, it gets me paid, it gets you paid. It would be pretty cool if you used it. But yeah, here's the team. I really like how this one turned out, grabbing Bijan, and then Love and A.J. Brown at the turn. We got the A.J. Brown, Drake May stack. We have the Cam Ward, Wandale Gunnar Helm stack that everyone's talking about. And I just like getting the running backs early and then really hammering wide receivers with volume the rest of the way. The tight ends, we ended up going a little bit later than we even wanted to. It's kind of gross, but Strange, Chig, and Helm, I think, can do the job. We can recreate Brock Bowers in the aggregate, fellas. That's the plan. So thank you again for watching this. Please tune in for the next one, and I will catch you later.